Unanimous consent that the quorum call be initiated.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I come to the floor today to pay tribute to the life and service of Lance Corporal Riley Mccollum. Now, he was from Bondurant, Wyoming. On Thursday, August 26th, the United States lost 13 men and women in uniform, 11 Marines, an Army soldier, and a Navy corpsman. They were killed by a terrorist attack in Kabul, Afghanistan. At least 20 additional Marines were wounded. It was the deadliest day for our nation's military in more than a decade. One of those fallen heroes was Lance Corporal Riley Mccollum. Madam President, he was just 20 years old. Riley McCollum's life demonstrated the best of our nation. His dad, Jim, told me that Riley was full-blooded red, white, and blue, and from the very beginning. Riley's dad, Jim, wanted to serve in the military, but he couldn't because of a medical issue. Well, his son Riley grew up with that same great desire to serve our nation. Riley's father said, and his family said, he wanted to be a Marine from the very beginning. His sister Royce said that he ran around in his diapers and cowboy boots with his rifle. He attended Jackson Hole High School. He graduated from Summit Innovations High School in Wyoming, and he made a real name for himself all around the state as a champion wrestler. Now, he had the kind of talents and abilities which he could have done anything and everything. He wanted to serve America. He joined the Marines literally as soon as he could. He signed up on his 18th birthday. His plan was to serve in uniform and then come home to Wyoming. His goal was to teach history and coach wrestling. On August 26th, on his first deployment, he stood guard at the Hamid Karzai Airport in Kabul, Afghanistan. He protected the airport as Americans and our allies escaped to safety. His mission saved thousands of lives. While Riley was protecting others, he was killed by a terrorist bomb. Now, Riley had just been married in February. His wife, Gigi, was expecting their first child, and he was excited to become a father. His child will never know Riley, yet his child will always know that Riley Mccollum, her father, was a hero. On Friday, I stood side by side with Riley's family and his pregnant wife, Gigi, at the airport in Jackson, Wyoming, as Riley's flag-draped casket was brought home for his very last trip to Wyoming. And today I got a text from Gigi with this magnificent picture. The text came within the last hour or so, and we were able to do a blow-up of the text picture. It's Naval Hospital, Camp Pendleton, Wyoming, welcomes baby girl Levi Riley Rose, 8 pounds, 10 ounces, September 13th, today at 2 a.m. There's the baby, and there's the cutout of her father, Riley Mccollum. Madam President, people in Wyoming and all across America have shown their love and respect and appreciation and admiration for Riley and his family. People have already donated close to $1 million to help Gigi and the baby. They donated these funds through a GoFundMe page on the internet. And it's a testament to the gratitude of the American people for the life and service of Riley Mccollum. After Riley's passing, a family friend in Jackson named Reggie Stone told a story on Facebook. The story is about a conversation he once had with Riley and with Reggie's son, Eli. Eli also serves in uniform. Reggie says Eli and Riley once said, "If anything ever happened to us, just know we were doing what we loved." What Riley Mccollum loved was protecting others. What Riley Mccollum loved was service. What Riley Mccollum loved was America. And as Jim Mccullum told me, he said, Riley is standing guard tonight at the gates of heaven. Madam President, Riley Mccollum is an American hero. His name will always be held in honor throughout Wyoming, where for the 500,000 people of our state, we all think of Riley and Gigi and now the baby as part of our family. May God comfort his family, and may God continue to bless this great country for which Riley Mccollum gave his life. And now, Madam President, I want to talk about the fall of Afghanistan. It's the thing that people in Wyoming want to talk about. They want to talk about Riley, and they want to talk about what happened in Afghanistan. Over the last 20 years, nearly 2,500 Americans gave their lives in Afghanistan. Our mission in Afghanistan was twofold. First, to kill the terrorists who attacked us on 9/11/2001, and second, to take away the safe haven where terrorists planned attacks on America. And for the last 20 years, both missions were a success. Yet in a matter of just weeks, everything changed. And they changed because of the complete incompetence of President Joe Biden. Because of that incompetence, the Taliban are stronger today than they were 20 years ago. They are stronger than ever. Afghanistan is now a safe haven for terrorists, and America is more at risk to terrorists today than it has been in 2 decades. Afghanistan fell because President Biden paid exclusive attention to the calendar on the wall instead of the conditions on the ground. Joe Biden set an arbitrary political deadline of August 31st. The president wanted symbolism for September 11th. Well, he got symbolism, but it wasn't what he wanted. It was the kind of symbolism that terrorists wanted. Now, in April, when President Biden announced his deadline, I warned this would happen. I said, if we pulled out, the Taliban would take over. Leader McConnell, other Senate Republicans came and warned the president as well. Some of the top generals in our military warned the president also. Yet President Biden stubbornly refused to listen. Refused to listen to his military advisors and refused to listen to his national security advisors. Our enemies knew we were leaving, and so they were on the offense. In a matter of weeks, Afghanistan fell to the Taliban. It was predictable, and it was preventable. When Kabul fell, President Biden was on vacation, so was the Secretary of State and the White House press secretary. When British Prime Minister Boris Johnson tried to reach President Biden, he had to wait 36 hours. When the Canadian Prime Minister wanted to discuss Afghanistan, he couldn't get through to President Biden, but he got through to Hillary Clinton. The White House was asleep at the switch, and the White House switchboard was turned off to our closest allies. Even after Kabul fell, President Biden stuck with his reckless and dangerous deadline. And as a result, President Biden has abandoned hundreds of Americans behind enemy lines. Many are still trapped there right now. I can't imagine any other president in the history of our country doing that, abandoning Americans behind enemy lines. He also abandoned thousands of Afghanistan people who have helped us over the years. They helped our troops. That even includes an interpreter who helped save the president's life when he visited Afghanistan as a senator. Many of these people are going to be killed by terrorists. President Biden signed their death warrants. This is worse than Benghazi. This is worse than the Iranian hostage crisis. This is worse than the withdrawal from Vietnam. To me, this is America's worst national humiliation in more than 50 years. Simply stated, the fall of Afghanistan is a dereliction of duty by the commander-in-chief. Joe Biden ran for president on two things. One, he based on competence and on foreign policy expertise, and he has failed this entire nation on both. Nearly every prediction that President Biden made about Afghanistan has proven to be wrong. On July 8th, President Biden said there would be, quote, no circumstance where you would see people being lifted off the roof of the embassy of the United States from Afghanistan. Just 5 weeks later, that is exactly the video of what the world saw. President Biden claimed al-Qaeda is gone from Afghanistan. Just hours later, the Pentagon had to admit that what the president said was not true. The president had lied to the American people. ISIS fighters are also in Afghanistan. They're the ones who killed the 13 service members. Russians and Iranians are also in Afghanistan. The president's hasty withdrawal left behind billions of dollars worth of American weapons. Now it's all property of the terrorists. Joe Biden armed the terrorists beyond their wildest dreams. In total, the Taliban has seized more than 600,000 American weapons, 2,000 armored vehicles, Humvees, American tanks, 40 aircraft, including Black Hawk helicopters. Because of the incompetence of President Biden, the Taliban is now the best armed terrorist group in history. President Biden surrendered to the terrorists, and now the terrorists will be coming for us. I've joined with my fellow Republicans in demanding a full accounting of American military equipment in Afghanistan. President Biden has absolutely no plan to either get the weapons back or to destroy them where they are. Instead, President Biden is making excuses. He claims he had to follow President Trump's withdrawal agreement. Well, that's not true, Madam President, and we know it. President Trump's plan was conditioned on successful peace talks with the Afghan government. Those talks are still unsuccessful. President Biden had overturned dozens of policies from the previous administration. Let's look at a few of the Trump policies that President Biden reversed. Well, he reversed the very successful Remain in Mexico policy, which has resulted in a complete collapse of our border security. He tried to bring back the Iran deal. He put us back in the Paris Accord. He rejoined the World Health Organization. So why didn't then President Biden either enforce the original withdrawal agreement from Afghanistan or renegotiate that agreement? He never even tried. President Biden even chose to give up Bagram Air Force Base north of Kabul. It's a strategic military location that military leaders will tell you should never have been abandoned under any circumstances. It's probably the only facility in Afghanistan big enough to get every American out quickly. We left there in the middle of the night without even telling our allies on the ground. The United States Senate must investigate why the president ordered the military to abandon it. And Madam President, the United States, I believe, has a sacred duty to finish the job of safely evacuating every American civilian in Afghanistan. The president said on national television just a few weeks before the collapse that he would not leave Afghanistan and would not follow the directive that he had placed of the August 31st deadline until every American was out. But yet on August 30th, he had every American service member out, and his own Secretary of State said there were still up to 200 American citizens trapped behind enemy lines. I believe we also have to evacuate the Afghans who risked their lives by providing us with assistance. I believe the United States must never recognize the Taliban as a legitimate government. The Biden administration claimed they would not recognize any government which came to power by force in Afghanistan. I find it very hard to trust anything that President Biden says anymore. Madam President, let me conclude with a word about our heroes who served our country in Afghanistan. Over my time in the Senate, I visited Afghanistan 9 times. And each time I go, it's to say thank you to the men and women in uniform who are there. I visit with Wyoming National Guard, visit with Wyoming regular military. Our National Guard, our cowboy cannoneers, have been deployed to Bagram Air Force Base, and I've visited with them numerous times over a number of years. And to them and to all Americans, I say, no matter how disgraceful this withdrawal, no matter how incompetent our commander-in-chief, no matter the failures of this administration, the truth remains: our soldiers served with honor. They fought with valor. And they have kept us safe and free for the last 20 years. They are all heroes. We will always, always, Madam President, hold them in high honor. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.